I'm going to be moving away from the theory of Tartaria, at least temporarily, and moving into the research and application of something that resembles the Antiquitech that we're used to seeing in the Tartarian community. On this channel, I'm going to be documenting my electroculture journey. Electroculture, roughly speaking, is the use of atmospheric energy or electricity in the garden to make plants grow larger, faster, stronger, and more nutritious. Really, it should be called electromagnetic culture since magnetism is an important aspect. Additionally, as we progress, we'll learn that it goes much deeper than just electricity and magnetism. And these ideas don't just apply to plants, which I believe will give us a better understanding of the lost technology of Tartaria. My goal is to share with you the research of the leading minds that have pioneered the science of electroculture and the application of the technology in my own garden for you all to see and maybe even apply to your own garden as well. I'm going to be covering the works of Yannick Van Doorne, whose research has taught me an incredible amount. He's a French agricultural engineer who shares his research for free on his YouTube channel. I want to emphasize his role in my journey. He's probably my number one source of inspiration and information for the topic of electroculture. I'm going to be covering the works of George Lakhovsky, which include his famous Lakhovsky coil, which is a simple piece of copper that goes into the soil next to your plants that increases the soil fertility and then, of course, increases the plant growth, as well as other techniques that Lakhovsky discovered and refined. I'll also be covering the works of Justin Christoflo, who designed amongst other things, one of the things he designed is the atmospheric antenna, which uses a similar principle to the Lakhovsky coil while making it taller and adding a magnetic component, among other things. I'll also be covering the works of Pier Luigi Egini, not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right, and his ideas on electromagnetism, and spirals as it relates to electroculture. I'll also be covering the works of Phil Callahan and how paramagnetism affects plant growth, which also involves learning about Irish round towers scattered all over Ireland. Basically, these tall stone towers were made with paramagnetic rock. That's the idea, which makes the vegetation surrounding the towers grow larger and more nutritious. The local farmers actually have noticed that the sheep prefer to eat that grass surrounding these towers, so that's one thing to note. My next video is going to be a pretty long video, just reading a couple of studies on paramagnetism and its effects on plant growth. Again, away from the theory, more into the application, more into the scientific studies, into the research of the leading minds. And I'll also be covering the works of Les Brown, who studied the effects that pyramids have on vegetation. Basically, it seems that his research suggests that pyramids make the seeds germinate faster, the roots grow larger, plants grow stronger, and are more resistant to pests. I'm also going to tell you guys my synchronicity that happened, which is extremely strange. To get to the point, I'll just give you the big enchilada now. I've been learning a lot about this stuff the past 2 or 3 months. Electroculture and paramagnetism and all these things. And the day, let me backtrack a little bit. My girlfriend and I moved into a house. We bought a house, moved into it. Now we live in the country. We've been here for about 5 months now. So I've been learning about electroculture for 2 months. And a couple weeks ago, I decided that I want to build my own round tower. There are different techniques you'll find that we'll cover here. You could pour something in a tube. That's basalt. Basalt is paramagnetic volcano rock. And another technique is to fill it with concrete so it sticks together more and it actually adds other effects. However, the day that my girlfriend and I were going to different antique shops, I was trying to find the right vases and things, ceramic vases. I didn't find it. Long story short, I came back home and I looked at the vase next to my house that we just bought, that the previous owner, who lived here for a few decades, had left beside the house. And as soon as I looked at the vase, I noticed that the vegetation was growing larger immediately around it. And the second I looked at the vase, the idea came to me that this is a round tower, and this is what I've been searching for the supplies that day to build. So just think about it, guys. I've been seeing this vase every day in the past couple of months, especially, the last 2 or 3 months, as I've been learning about electroculture. And the day that I decide to go out with my girlfriend to try to find the supplies to build my own round tower, I get home, and as soon as I look at this vase thing that has been next to my house for all this time, it immediately comes to me that this is a round tower. It has all the characteristics of it. For example, it seems like it's poured concrete in it, and in it there are rocks, so I'm not sure what rocks were used. However, the bottom is open, so the metal shell at the bottom is not there, so the concrete is making contact with the surface or the ground. And the rust surrounding the vase is an important element I've learned from Yannick, that some types of rust or iron oxide are paramagnetic, which of course adds to the effects that we're looking for. In addition to that, when I put my EMF detector app on my phone up against the vase, it does detect an electromagnetic field. So it's emitting a paramagnetic field, which is very interesting. This is not by chance. Long story short, I put this round tower that I found in my garden where my corn field is, my little corn field. And I mean, I'll put the pictures up here, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. You can see that the corn immediately surrounding the little round tower that I found are growing almost at 3 times the rate as the other corn that isn't next to it. So that is an amazing synchronicity. I want to conclude this video with a quote from Yannick Van Doorne. Again, my #1 source of inspiration and information for the topic of electroculture. God bless this man's mind. Here's his quote: "When we do things spontaneously and with joy and happiness, it creates miracles." Hope you all have a good day.